Hello guys, what's up? I'm Brian here doing another video for you guys, and this time we are taking the two last digits of the previous year and we're going to make a top list based on that number. This is the top 19 of 2019 and we're going to take a look at all my purchases or figures received from 2019, and I'm going to pick the top 19 best ones. Just to let you know, this was a pretty hard list, and my opinion on some of these might change over time. And these figures aren't necessarily released in 2019, I just got them in 2019. Surprisingly enough, no dishonorable mentions. Oh no! Number 19 goes to Transformers Animated Safeguard. I feel like I would kick my own ass if I didn't put this on the list. This is an awesome figure with a very interesting gimmick of combining two figures into one. Jetfire, Jetstorm, Safeguard, whatever you want to call it. Why put labels on it? It's all good. The future is now, old man. Studio Series Jetfire. I only recently got this guy, but wow, is he such an improvement over the Revenge of the Fallen version. Let me tell you this, the Revenge of the Fallen version I transformed once as a kid, and I got so frustrated with it. It's not so much of an issue now, but when I was little, oh, it was a pain. So with Studio Series Jetfire, I find it a lot easier. It's still got its issues, still got transformation bits that are kind of scary, but I really enjoy this thing. 4500X. That's not right. Studio Series Blackout. I had to put this thing in. Why? Because I actually like it. And I didn't think I would like it. Or at least I wouldn't like it as much. The transformation, yes, it's very complex, but I actually kind of enjoy it. My one concern is these panels. They look like they're going to pop off. I mean, they're friction tabbed in, but I feel like that tab's not going to last too long. But still, there is something about the style of him and how huge the alt mode is. I just really like this. I have to thank Mason Brown, aka I Am Amazing Mason, for this little lady. It's animated Black Arachnia, the second animated figure on this list, surprisingly enough. I was really into Transformers Animated for a while. I really wanted to grab everything from the line, but I got kind of distracted with, well, everything else going on right now in Transformers. But still, Black Arachnia is wonderfully designed. I love the spider mode. It's not perfect, but I still like it. The robot mode really looks good. I'm quite surprised how much they were able to do for this little spider lady. She's just that good. I like her. Next on the list is Studio Series Scrap Metal. For obvious reasons, because he's scrap metal. He's just adorable. I mean, look at this thing. I love the head. I love how weird he is. He's not totally weird. Like, I don't think he's completely out there, but he's just got this charm to him that I really enjoy. So, yeah, scrap metal. I like the little guy. You're going to see some figures on this list mainly because I wanted them for a long time. It is Avio Swerve. Simply because I wanted it, and I could never find it when it first released. In fact, I didn't even know where it released. Apparently you can find it in Canada, as of the time of its release, I should say, but I never did saw it. So, when it came to online purchases, I decided to buy Avio Swerve. And this guy is pretty cool. He is certainly not perfect, I can tell you that much. But I really enjoy the aesthetic, the look, the style. And this is all coming from a promotional figure. It's not something from the main line. It was to promote the Avio, the Chevy Avio. And that was it. But they did a pretty impressive job. This is the only one of its kind. And my phone just went off. Thank you for that. But still very cool. Also from Mason Brown, aka I Am Amazing Mason. Again, this is another one that if I didn't put on the list, I would kick my ass, mainly because of the series it comes from. Transformers Prime, Arms Micron, Ironhide. Now I got this in package, and I got it for a good price. It's also got hair on the front of the cannon for whatever reason, if you're into that. But yeah, I really wanted this thing. I got the cup, but it certainly needed a recolor, and obviously Ironhide is here. So, yeah, simply because I wanted this thing so badly, Couldn't find it, couldn't get a good price, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's for a good price, and it's from my buddy Mason, so there. This is a duo, but I don't think that's cheating necessarily. It is Siege Brunt and Selects Zatar. Now, if I had to pick one, it selects Zatar, but I'm going to throw in Brunt. I want to thank Dakota from 01 Transfan for sending this out. I really do appreciate it. I love the purple and gray. I love the Decepticon look. But there's something I really enjoy about Zatar. Maybe it's the drill head or the color scheme. I don't know. There's just something about it that really interests me. He is the most interesting compared to any of these weaponized power smasher, dasher things, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I just think he's the best. This one's gonna get some eye rolls, and people are gonna say, oh, you didn't even put Siege Soundwave into the list, but you managed to put this thing on? It is Masterpiece 03 Starscream. Now, I don't get a lot of Masterpiece figures, so this thing still impressed me with the alt mode, and I still like the robot mode. I don't even mind these things. It certainly is not perfect, I will acknowledge that. But considering that I don't have a lot of Masterpiece figures, this just went up on my list. So, yeah, I still enjoy the thing. I like the style, I like the design. The alt mode is wonderful. The details is amazing. So, I don't regret putting this up. I think it's still nice. I enjoy it. Oh, I knew this guy would be on the list. It is Studio Series Bonecrusher. I love this thing ever since he went on screen for a short while. Yeah, he wasn't on the film for much. But still, he impressed me. I like the deluxe class figure, but I felt like it needed to be much bigger. Considering the Studio Series lineup is much smaller compared to the first movie lineup, I think Bonecrusher fits in well. He is much wider, which I think is necessary. And I like the transformation. I love the style. Studio Series Bonecrusher on the list. Before I say this one, I want to say that all three of them should be on this list, but I decided to pick one. It is the Siege Blue Streak. Prowl is nice, but I feel like the color scheme is a little boring. I mean, because he's a police car, he's just black and white, he doesn't really stand out as much as the other two. And I like Smokescreen, but in alt mode I feel like it's a little more flashy than the robot mode. There's a lot of black and the red is a little too dark. I feel like Blue Streak's color scheme really complements it well. I love this nice, clean gray, and the red really screams at me. I don't know, he just looks more slick and clean, and I really enjoyed this thing. I think that if you're gonna have to get one, Siege Blue Streak is the one to go. This is the last Studio Series figure on this list, and I want to bring up that I did not get a lot of Studio Series figures in the previous year. The main reason why is because my stores really were bad at selling them. So I got this thing and I thought, hey, it looks pretty cool, but he impressed me, and you can see him at the corner. It is Studio Series Rampage. I thought that I enjoyed the original Rampage, but I didn't know what enjoyment was until I got this thing. He is really impressive. I like how wide he is. I like the design, the aesthetic of him. Look at all the detail going into this thing. It just looks like a proper Rampage figure. And I love this thing. This is not going to seem relevant right away, but I want to bring this up. I've got merch! Yes, I'm actually wearing my merch right now. There's my logo. And I actually had my merch delivered to me as well by someone else. This is from Chris Vellner, and I actually designed this thing. It's a simple design, but still pretty cool. And I bring that up because Chris also sent me CEJ Shockwave. So thank you so much, Chris Vellner, because I love this thing. I wanted a Generation Shockwave for the longest time. And they did it. And they added a bunch of unnecessary stuff. But in the middle of it, it's still a Generation Shockwave. And that's what I wanted. And here he is. And he is incredible. Oh, I love this thing. I'm glad that he's a Voyager scale figure. I'm glad that he doesn't outshine Megatron or anything like that. But, man, impressive. Just wonderful. The second and last CEJ figure on this list is CEJ Optimus Prime. And you can barely see me through the X. There we go. CEJ Optimus Prime is incredible. I know there's the movie version coming out that's pretty much like this, from the Bumblebee movie. And it looks pretty cool, but I never got it. And I do know that there's going to be the Earthrise Optimus Prime that's going to look much closer to Optimus Prime traditionally, but I like the changes of this one, and I'm not sure if I really want to get the Earthrise version of Optimus Prime, mainly because it's essentially this with a box, and it's like, ooh, cool, whatever. But I understand why people like that thing, but on this list, we're going to put up the CEJ Optimus Prime. This is not the animation color version, by the way. But still, I mean, regardless of the other Optimus Primes out there, this is still great. This is still wonderful. I love the mold. I love the design. I even like the transformation to a degree. I mean, I think it's a little tedious, but I think the overall result that you get is still very good. So, yeah, CEJ Optimus Prime takes the list. We are down to the top 5, and I gotta say that I am quite surprised that this thing made the list. It is the Titans Returns Skyshadow. When I got the Overlord figure, I thought, hey, that's pretty cool, but it didn't wow me. Like, something about it was just really off. There are certain parts of that toy that I just feel might have been unfinished or just not that good. With Skyshadow, he pretty much just fixes everything, and it came out before Overlord. Man, I love this thing. The design, the color scheme, the transformation feels a little bit better. He's just wonderful to look at. He's got a nice presence. Look at the colors of him. He just blows me away. I love this thing. If you know me, I don't think anyone's going to be surprised by this one. It is the CEJ Seeker mold. So not just Starscream, but everyone else. I don't have the Thundercracker, but the Skywarp and everything else I've got. Specifically, if I have to choose one, I'd have to say thank you to Larkin's Lair for the Red Wing figure. Because look at that bright red and the black and the white. He just really stands out among the other Seekers, because the other Seekers, they're pretty cool, but the color schemes kind of lack. I feel like they could have added more to it. But with this guy, they did it. And they knocked it out of the park. I love looking at this thing. He's just, aesthetically, the paint job is wonderful. It's amusing to the eyes. It's just a wonderful piece. If you ask me, would I ever get this figure before I actually got it, I was not sure. It is probably the #1 Generation 1 figure that I would have to go after out of anything. And it's mainly just a biased opinion because it is my favorite character. I've got so many versions of this character, but this is the one that I never got. I had like a gray version that might not have been an official one, but I wanted the essential main figure. You guys probably know what it is. Generation 1 Shockwave. Oh my god. Yeah, I love Shockwave. He is my favorite character of all time. You know, he's my favorite Decepticon. I just really enjoy this guy. And when it came to this, I was surprised. I got him at a fair. He's so cool. He is probably my pride and joy right now. You know, I've got so many different versions of Shockwave, but never had I had this guy. So, I felt like I needed him, and now that I have him, I'm just really impressed. Okay, let me tell you this. For #2 and #1, they were so close that there's only one reason why #1 is at #1 and #2 is at #2. That being, #1 I wanted for a longer time compared to #2, and that's just because of how it got released. So, That's pretty much it. Otherwise, they're both number one in my opinion. But I had to choose one, and this is what I went through. This is number 2 for the list. Titans Returns. Trypticon. Oh my god, he looks amazing. He is so big. He is like a child to me. If you were to hurt this guy, I'd probably hurt you. And that's not a real threat, no. But still, look at this thing. He is amazing. He's got all these different components to him. The base modes are wonderful. Oh, and I have to thank the Dabber Supreme for sending this out to me. I really do appreciate this. I've had a lot of fun with it. So, yeah, I've always wanted a Generations Trypticon, and we've got it. And, man, is it good. So what's number 1? So the reason why CEJ Soundwave did not make it on this list was because I did not like the alt mode so much, and because I got this figure that year. Masterpiece Soundwave. Again, the only reason why this made it to number 1 and not Trypticon, or because it wasn't a tie, was because I wanted this longer. Because he's been released for the longest time. He is amazing. This is the essential Soundwave figure. As much as I like Shockwave, Soundwave is probably my second favorite Decepticon ever. I love the aesthetic, I love how cold he is, I love how menacing he is, and emotionless. He's just essentially a really bad guy, but he's definitely loyal to the cause. He is essentially the main Decepticon out of anything. If you could think of a Decepticon, it's probably going to be Soundwave that pops up on your list. He is amazingly designed, very well detailed. I love the alt mode, but the robot mode, every time I look at this thing, oh wow! He's just got this nice style to him that really complements the original cartoon, and the toy, and everything. So, Masterpiece Soundwave. So that is the list. I thank you guys for watching. What is your list? Please comment below or make your own video. Please let me know. And like, comment, share, subscribe, and all those fun doodads. And I will see you.